Ms. Roberts, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes,
You got to speak up for me.
yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Crispa Lisa Roberts, 2025 CR 04113. You're before the court for battery and simple battery aggrav. What is that? Because it's cutting off on my.
That's probably because it was transferred. It's
At first, it was an aggravated battery, Your Honor. It was then transferred down, and so we had to amend the accusation. So it's battery for count 1 and simple battery for count 2.
All right. So count 1 battery, count 2 simple battery. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
She pleads guilty to battery, Judge. I believe simple battery would merge.
All right. Factual basis recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. On August 27, 2024, officers were dispatched in reference to a domestic disturbance. When officers arrived on scene, he stated that him and Roberts, which is later identified as the defendant.
Leslie walks in thinking it's simple. She signed the plea. She's done her time. She goes home. But Judge Boyd brings the legal hammer down. "This is my courtroom," she says, reminding Leslie and everyone watching that plea deals are recommendations, not guarantees. This moment is classic courtroom tension, the defendant's expectation colliding with the court's discretion. Should judges hold more responsibility for clarifying these deals, or was Leslie just hoping the paperwork would skip the consequences?
We're having a conversation where she leaned in, bit his lip, causing a deep laceration. The victim in this case was having a hard time speaking with the officers due to his injury. Officers at that point observed blood was on Miss Roberts' clothes. Those are the facts of the case, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is as follows. Your Honor, the state is requesting 12 months to serve, 180 days, balance suspended to have no contact. The reason for the state's request, Your Honor, at the age of only 27 years old, the defendant has a violent criminal history. She has completed pretrial diversion October the 6th, 2017 in Kennesaw for simple battery. She was then convicted in Cobb County for terroristic threats in 2021. She also was convicted or is currently on probation under first offender probation for ag assault, criminal trespass, terroristic threats, and simple battery. And then she has a open case in Cobb County as recent as September the 18th, 2024, a felony criminal damage to property in the second degree and a battery family violence. And she has multiple probation violations. Miss Roberts is not a great probation candidate, and she is currently on probation for a felony offense while picking up another felony in Cobb County. That's the reason for the state's request for 180 days, Your Honor.
Mr. Lynch?
Judge, a couple of things about my client. So she has been continuously incarcerated since September of 2024. She came directly to Clayton County from Cobb County. But what I want to make you aware of is that while she was in Cobb County, she did in county jail, she did complete several domestic violence programs. And additionally, she told me she took some additional programs in Clayton County Jail. Miss Roberts, and I believe on her most recent case, she's just been sentenced to probation. So Miss Roberts has 4 children, and she's currently—
How many children?
I'm sorry, she has 3 children, and she's currently almost 9 months pregnant.
When she have time to have children for as much time as she has been in and out of the jails? What is really going on, Mr. Lynch? Not the pretty words, not the lawyer words. Tell me why this child has been in and out of jail on felonies since 2017. And then she wants to have babies. How are you raising babies from the jail?
You know, my client has had a hard life. I know that she started out in foster care and aged out, I believe, at the age of 21. Is that
This is the stuff I need to hear. Like, why are you choosing this path? or if this path chose you. But the stuff about, oh, she's taking classes and I don't care. What I need to know is why she, one, keeps running into the Clayton County, into the judicial system, especially the felony part. And two, how she thinks she can take care of babies when her main obligation is to the court system. So let's talk about that.
Well, Judge,
Ms. Roberts, you can speak for yourself. Come on up here. Tell me why, you don't know that you're not in a situation where you probably need to bring in more babies into this world, but you're 9 months pregnant. B, why we keep having these issues. First of all, answer this question. Who's the gentleman whose lip got bit?
That's my husband. We've been in a long relationship where he's mentally ill and he likes to drink, and things happen, but a lot of times we get into arguments and stuff.
Okay, let me explain something to you, Ms. Roberts. And I understand that you fall in love with somebody and you want to support them, but I just read a story about a woman whose husband was mentally ill. He got out of a mental health facility just in time for their son's graduation. The 2 days before graduation, he killed all of them, all four of them. So I'm saying you got to make good choices. So you're adding stress to an already stressful situation. You already have cases pending. Y'all are already having issues going back and forth. You're ending up in jail. He has mental health issues. You're adding babies to this situation, and with no thought to what the stressors are and what they may lead to. Where's the stability? If Mr. Lynch tells me you've been in jail since September of 2024, your whole prenatal situation has been in jail, which means where are those babies that you already have?
So
who's taking care of them?
We do have a village behind us. They go back and forth between my mother-in-law and my mother, and they kind of do visitations that way. And I do talk to them very often. I hear you about the type of situation that I'm in. I hear you.
Because the grandparents, if they're, listen to me. I know I look incredibly young.
You too.
But I'm a grandparent, and I'm gonna tell you this. At my age, I also have very young children. So honestly, my granddaughter is right in between my kids. Straight wild situation, but I have very young children. I know what it takes at my age to keep up with these children, to make sure they have what they need, to make sure they're where they need to be, to make sure they're supported emotionally, physically, all of that. Y'all are putting pressure on women who should have this part of their life, should be in peace. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, my mom is great, my mother-in-law is great, they're helping me. But really, they're doing what they're doing because the love in their heart says they don't want these babies to end up in the system. But would they rather be in a situation where they don't have to take care of your babies on a consistent level? They can come to your house, hug on them, and leave them at your house and go back home. They don't have to be the village who is taking care of your babies while you're in jail from September 2024 to May of 2025. They don't deserve to have to raise you and raise the father and now have to raise these kids. And then with no more thought to that, you get pregnant again. Like you don't know where babies come from. And if you don't know where babies come from, I will shut down this whole operation and you and I will have a private conversation where I can explain it to you and how to prevent it so that you can have babies when you are stable and you can take care of them instead of your mother-in-law and your mother. Ms. Roberts, you have got to, at some point, you're very intelligent. I hear it.
This is the heaviest moment. Leslie reveals past abuse from her stepfather, saying she never told her mother, never went to therapy, and even had to cut off ties with family. It's heart-wrenching, but the judge reminds her, those people, her mother, her brother, don't want contact. Leslie wants family. The court wants safety. So what wins? Emotional healing or legal protection? Drop a comment. Was this a breakthrough moment? Or just another fracture in a broken system?
Got to, at some point, make better choices. You've got to. Whether that means supporting your husband from afar, but making sure he gets the mental health care he needs while while you take the opportunity to take care of these babies the way you should. I get that you came out of foster care and people failed you. I get that. But at some point as adults, we've got to flip that switch as, okay, I'm still dealing with my past. I'm still dealing with those issues, but I've got to make better decisions because I'm bringing a new generation into this world. They did not ask to come here, and they did not ask to come here in the situation that exists. The fact that you are 9 months pregnant with a new child that you're going to bring into this situation, and you don't even know if you're going to be able, when I was on magistrate court, the worst part of my job was having to go to Southern Regional Hospital to do first appearance hearings for mothers who were chained to the bed while they were having their babies. Chained to the bed. I would take my robe. A sheriff's deputy would drive me there, and I would go into the room with a mother who should have her family surrounding her, where nobody can visit but the sheriff's deputies guarding her, and she has a baby, and she's chained to the bed. Ms. Roberts, I'm gonna need you to make better choices. All of this stuff here, these anger issues, all of the stuff that's coming out. You've had pretrial diversion to try and get you off this path. That didn't work. You've been on probation. That didn't work. At some point, you've got to make better choices because you're bringing in a group of a new group of people who they're going to grow up. If they get the opportunity to grow up, they're going to grow up just like you. Grow up hard and then face a hard life. You have got to do better. If you're producing children because you think somebody needs to love you, babies don't love you. Let me just say, they're not here to love us. They don't choose to be here. They come in and they're very selfish. You have other kids, so you know they demand things. They need things. They need care. We're here for them. They're not here for us. So don't produce babies so you can feel like somebody's loving on you. It's the opposite. But the fact that Mr. Lynch has said, well, she's 9 months pregnant. Well, that is a horror to me. That's not a good thing. That's not a positive in your box of pros and cons as I consider what to do with this case, because it's not negotiated. I get to decide. And what I'm saying to you is at some point, you gotta be better than your situation. If nothing else, say, I just really can't have another baby right now. I'm going to go to fisticuffs. I know my temper. I know the situations I am in and that I have pending. I'm not good for mothering right now. Not that I never will be, but I can't add more to my situation. Now, when you have this baby, if I give you 180 days, so that's going to be smack dab into your having the baby. So you're going to be one of those people who gives birth locked to the bed at Southern Regional. And then once you have the baby, that baby's going to have to go to your village, because just because you have a baby don't mean you're going to get out of jail. So at that point, the baby doesn't get to breastfeed. The baby doesn't get to bond. The baby goes straight to jail. I mean, to the village. And if I'm not mistaken, them two women ain't breastfeeding at this point. So stop creating children for your parents to raise. It's not cute for you to tell me, well, we have a village. That's not cute. I'm not impressed. These are your babies. Your village don't want to raise your babies. You got too much to deal with. If you want to be a support to your husband who has mental health issues, then you got to be out of jail to do that. I know what I'm saying is true. And you, now, if you've never heard anything I said, if nothing else gets to you, you You need some counseling. You need therapy. You need therapy. When you ask, when the judges on felony court, they have those kinds of resources. You need therapy. Ask for it. Ask your attorney in superior court, I need therapy. This is my situation. I need to be ordered to go to therapy. I need that. I need it in the jail if I can get it. I need it on the outside. You need therapy. Because you got to deal with your stuff, the stuff that got you to this point, the stuff that you had to deal with in foster care, the stuff where somebody failed you. You got to deal with that. And the stuff, so it is not a positive that you're 9 months pregnant and you've been in jail since September of 2024. It is not a positive that your village is raising your children, but you keep having children. It is not a positive that you're having children with somebody who has mental health issues and they need care. And so instead of in supporting them, you're having more children, but that's a stressor. That's not I'm gonna help you by having more children. That's not a positive. It's not a positive that you have 2 other children who are not getting time with their mother. You talk to them on the phone. What good is that? What good is that? They can't smell you. They can't touch you. They can't be up under you. You're not walking the floor with them when they don't feel good. You're not rubbing Vicks on their chest. You're not giving them steam to clear their congestion. You're not doing any of those things. So what good is it that you talk to them on the phone? That's not a positive. So when you go to the next judge, whoever that is, remember how I'm reacting to all of this. Don't present those as positives. Don't present that you're 9 months pregnant as a positive. It's not. And I'll just be honest with you. Oh, babies are a blessing. They are when they come into a situation where they're going to be cared for. You got me?
Understand.
Anything you want to say to me?
There's nothing that you said that I particularly disagree with. It's just I've done a lot of, classes and courses, and I have access.
Yeah, but are they helping? Because you're pregnant with your 3rd child, and you're still in jail, and you're facing more jail, and even more jail after I finish with you. There's stuff pending now. So have you learned anything is what I want to know. You can take all the classes in the world, but the stuff that I'm telling you and the stuff the classes are telling you, you already know.
I have learned things that I've decided to do differently is a lot of the classes, they could be put on my resume so that way I could be able to provide for my children. Another thing is I signed for the birth control that you can get put in your arm at the hospital. So there's no missing pills or nothing like that. And, with my probation, the last case that they gave me probation, they have asked that I get treatment done as a condition of the probation. So I have been looking into those type of options. I work with different agencies that are supposed to be helping me, with my parenting while I'm incarcerated. And then when I leave incarceration, as well as therapy and things of that nature. One of them is called Motherhood Beyond. The other is called Mothers Making a Change. So I'm trying to take the steps that I can and reach out to the resources that I can to make better decisions. Did I touch?
No, you
Okay. All right, Mr. At some point, this is my last thing. You're going to have to apologize to your children for abandoning them.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to have to seriously sit down and apologize to them for not being here for them.
As Leslie walks away with her probation terms, you can't help but wonder what's next. The judge took a risk here, offering structured re-entry instead of extended punishment. But will Leslie follow through on her promises? She says she get therapy, take her meds, stay clean, but those are words. The court's watching her actions now, and with the judge making it clear that any slip-up means revocation, Leslie is walking a legal tightrope. Would you bet on her success?
for choosing to have them in this situation, for choosing to leave them with their grandparents, for not being here for them, for choosing to have them with somebody who has severe mental health issues that's untreated and it's unstable before you bring them into the world. You didn't have to apologize to them because they didn't deserve it. None of that. Okay, Mr. Lynch, what's your recommendation? The state is asking for 180 days.
Judge, I would ask that you either sentence her to 12 months to serve 90 days with the balance suspended. That's what I would ask for, Judge.
And
Or-
based on what?
Well, the amount of time that she's done, I would, based on her statements and my understanding, she has at this point started to take steps to get herself into a better situation. Judge, she's only 27 years old. A lot, still young, still time to change, Judge. Still enough time to allow her to become the mother that these children need, or at least to become a greater source of support for.
Every one of her offenses is violent.
And I understand that, Judge, but as she indicated, she has sought counseling. She has completed courses. She has looked into, therapy, as she mentioned, Judge. She has, I'm not attempting to present her length of incarceration as a positive, but I would just note that, that amount of time certainly has given her time to start taking these steps, Judge. And if your honor was more inclined to sentence her to a sentence that would include probationary supervision.
No. I'm not burdening any probation officer with Miss no. No. Miss Roberts is not a probation candidate. She is not. She's messed up on probation. This is the classic where they tell you in the Ayala factors, if you give somebody a bond, you don't want somebody who's going to go out and commit another offense, particularly a felony. My understanding is she was on probation and went out and committed, or at least was charged with another felony. So no, Mr. Lynch, no. Ms. Roberts, at some point there comes a reckoning. At some point, you hit the wall of responsibility. And this is that point. So I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I'll sentence you on count 1 to 12 months to serve 180 days. The balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Count 2 will merge. Ms. Roberts, take this opportunity to stop doing what you're doing, to take advantage.
Leslie Oanion's courtroom moment wasn't just about time served, it was about truth, trauma, and trust. Judge Boyd didn't just issue a sentence, she issued a challenge. Prove that your transformation is real. For Leslie, freedom now comes with more rules than rights. This wasn't leniency, it was strategy. And it leaves us asking, can justice and empathy truly coexist, or must one always surrender to the other? If you found this case gripping, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real courtroom drama, legal insights, and raw human stories. Hit the bell so you never miss another gavel drop.
I'll sentence you on count 1 to 12 months to serve 180 days. The balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Count 2 will merge. Ms. Roberts, take this opportunity to stop doing what you're doing, to take advantage of whatever programs they have, whatever therapy they have in the felony, but just stop. Just, if nothing else, don't have any more children for your mother and mother-in-law to raise. If they wanted more children, they could adopt some. Gotcha. All right.
Thank you,
You
Your
go
Honor.
back to the sheriff's office.